The humans stood nervously in the grand entrance hall of the Intergalactic Academy of Sciences. The five of them looked small compared to the soaring crystal ceiling that sparkled with the light of 3 suns. Jack Miller shifted his weight from one foot to the other, feeling the extra strain of walking in lower gravity than Earth's. His 4 fellow humans, Olivia Hayes, Samuel Carter, Diana Wright, and Greg Johnson, were similarly uncomfortable, though they tried not to show it. "Remember what they told us in orientation," Diana whispered, her voice barely audible over the strange sounds of alien languages filling the hall. "We represent all of humanity here." "Hard to forget," Greg replied, watching a 6-limbed being glide past on what looked like a cushion of air. "Especially when everyone keeps staring at us like we might explode." It had been only 10 years since Earth joined the Galactic Federation. Humans were still newcomers, and to make matters more complicated, they came from what other species called a death world. Earth's higher gravity, oxygen-rich atmosphere, extreme weather, and abundance of predators made it seem like a nightmare to most aliens. Humans, by extension, were seen as unnaturally tough and potentially dangerous. A melodic tone rang through the hall, and the crowd of diverse beings began moving toward various corridors. "That's our signal," said Samuel, consulting the translator device on his wrist. "Xenobiology orientation is in Hall 7. The 5 humans walked together, aware of the space that other species kept around them. Some aliens watched them with multiple eyes or sensory organs the humans couldn't even name. Others whispered to each other in languages that sounded like music or static or bubbling water. The xenobiology classroom was a large amphitheater with curved rows of adaptable seating to accommodate the widely different body types of the students. Professor Zilnak stood at the center, a tall, willowy being with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. 4 arms moved in graceful gestures as the professor spoke. "Welcome, students of the 17 World," said Zilnax through the universal translator. "I am honored to guide you through the wonders of xenobiology this term. Our class is especially notable this cycle for including our newest members of the Federation, Terrans." All eyes turned to the 5 humans, who tried to smile politely despite the attention. "Let us begin with introductions," continued Zilnax. "Please share your name, homeworld, and what you hope to learn in this course." The introductions moved around the room. There were students from worlds with crushing gravity and others from almost none at all. Some came from water worlds, others from gas giants with floating cities. Each student was uniquely adapted to their environment, with breathing apparatus, supportive exoskeletons, or specialized limbs. When it was the humans' turn, Jack stood first. "I'm Jack Miller from Earth. I'm studying comparative biology, especially how similar solutions evolve on different worlds." Zilnax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Ah, convergent evolution. A fascinating subject, especially from a Deathworlder perspective." The other humans introduced themselves in turn. Olivia specialized in insect studies, Samuel in avian species, Diana in reptiles, and Greg in marine life. When the introductions finished, Zilnax moved to the center of the room again. "This term, we will explore the complexity of life across our galaxy. For your major project, each student will present a species from their homeworld, explaining its ecological significance and evolutionary adaptations." An excited murmur spread through the room. A student with iridescent scales raised a clawed hand. "Professor, will we need to rely on holographic representations, or may we bring samples?" "Excellent question, Zithra," replied Zilnax. "Living specimens are permitted with prior approval and appropriate safety measures. Your presentation should help us understand how life adapts to different planetary conditions." The humans exchanged glances. The aliens around them were mostly from what humans would call garden worlds, planets with stable climates, limited predators, and less extreme conditions than Earth. After class, the 5 humans gathered in their shared common room in the U Academy's Earth-adjusted wing. The room was set to Earth normal gravity and atmosphere, allowing them to relax for the first time that day. "So what are we thinking for the presentations?" asked Diana, sinking into a chair with relief. "I was thinking about bringing a butterfly chrysalis," said Olivia. The metamorphosis process would be interesting to them. Greg shook his head. Too gentle. These aliens think we're from some kind of hell planet. We should show them why. We're not here to scare them, Diana protested. We're supposed to be building bridges. I'm not saying we should try to terrify them, Greg clarified. But we have a chance to help them understand us better. They're afraid of us because they don't understand how we evolved alongside Earth's wildlife. Samuel nodded slowly. Greg has a point. Their worlds are so different from ours. Most of these aliens have never seen a predator bigger than their hand. Jack had been quiet, but now he leaned forward. What if we coordinated our presentations? Instead of 5 random Earth species, we could show them a range of creatures that demonstrate different aspects of Earth's ecology, and maybe help them understand why humans are the way we are, added Olivia, warming to the idea. Exactly, said Jack. We start with something small and work our way up. Show them that Earth life isn't just dangerous, it's amazing. I could bring my honeybee colony, Olivia suggested, her eyes lighting up. They're small but complex, and the hive structure would fascinate them. And I could arrange to bring my falcon, Samuel added. She's a rescue that can't be released to the wild. The Academy might allow it with the right safety measures. Diana still looked uncertain. Are you sure this is a good idea? The administration already watches us carefully. If we bring potentially dangerous Earth creatures here, that's why we'll be careful and follow all the protocols, Jack assured her. We're not trying to cause trouble. We just want to give them a real glimpse of Earth. Well, if we're doing this, Diana said with a sigh, I might be able to bring one of the corn snakes from the university collection. They're docile and make good ambassadors. Perfect, said Greg with a grin. I'll see if I can arrange for an octopus. They'll be blown away by its problem-solving abilities. They all turned to Jack, who smiled slowly. I'm thinking something with a lot of legs. Something that really shows Earth's biodiversity. You're not thinking... Olivia trailed off, eyes wide. A spider, Jack confirmed. Nothing deadly, but impressive enough to make a point. The 5 humans looked at each other, a mix of excitement and nervousness on their faces. They were about to give their alien classmates a real education about life on a death world. We should submit the formal request tomorrow, said Diana, ever practical. This will take time to arrange. This is going to be quite a show, Greg said, laughing. I can't wait to see their faces. As night fell on Solara Prime, the 5 humans continued planning their presentations, unaware that they were about to change how the entire Academy viewed their species. The peaceful aliens of the Federation were about to get their first real glimpse of Earth's wild creatures, and the humans who evolved alongside them. The next morning, Diana stood before the Academy Administration Office, a folder of documents clutched in her hand. As the most diplomatic of the 5 humans, she had been chosen to present their case to the Academy Board. She took a deep breath and walked through the shimmering doorway. Inside, 3 aliens sat behind a curved desk. In the center was Director Quavin, a tall being with smooth gray skin and 4 small eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. To the left sat Administrator Pelna, who resembled a large blue frog with delicate frills around her neck. On the right was Safety Officer Cottrell, an insectoid being whose hard exoskeleton clicked quietly as he shifted position. Student Diana Wright of Earth, announced the door system as she entered. Please approach, said Director Quavin, his voice deep and formal. Our records show you have submitted an unusual request. Diana nodded and placed her folder on the desk. Yes, Director. My fellow Earth students and I are requesting permission to temporarily bring several species from our homeworld for our xenobiology presentations. Safety Officer Cottrell's antennae twitched violently. Live specimens? From a death world? Absolutely not. Please let me explain our proposal, Diana said calmly. She opened the folder and activated the holographic display, showing images of the creatures they hope to bring. We have selected species that represent different aspects of Earth's biodiversity. None are critically dangerous, and all will be contained appropriately. Administrator Pelna leaned forward, her bulbous eyes blinking slowly as she examined the images. These creatures, they all have such strange adaptations. Yes, Diana agreed. That's exactly why we believe this would be valuable for the class. Professor Zilnax's course focuses on evolutionary adaptations to different planetary conditions. Earth's conditions have created unique solutions that would be educational for everyone to observe. Director Quavin tapped his long fingers on the desk. I see merit in the educational value, but safety must be our priority. Cottrell, your thoughts? The insectoid safety officer clicked his mandibles in agitation. These are predatory species. This one has venom, this one has claws, this one constricts its prey. His pointed limb jabbed at the images of the bee, falcon, and snake. Diana kept her voice level. On Earth, these are considered relatively harmless species. The bee colony will be in a sealed, transparent habitat. The falcon is trained and will wear restraints. The snake is docile and non-venomous. And this creature? Cottrell demanded, pointing to the image of an octopus. It has no bones. How do you even contain such a thing? In a secure aquarium, Diana explained. Octopuses are intelligent but need water to survive. They cannot escape a properly designed tank. Director Quavin raised a hand to silence further objections. And the final specimen? This multi-legged creature? A wolf spider, Diana said. Again, it would be in a secure enclosure. They're actually beneficial predators on Earth controlling pest populations. The three administrators conferred quietly in their own language. Diana waited, trying not to show her nervousness. Finally, Director Quavin turned back to her. We will need to review each proposed specimen individually. Please provide detailed containment plans handling protocols and emergency procedures for each. We will also require signed statements from each human presenter accepting full responsibility for their specimen's behavior. Diana nodded. Of course, we anticipated these requirements. She handed over another set of documents. These are our preliminary safety plans. Administrator Pelna looked impressed as she scanned the documents. You've been thorough. Earth's wildlife conservation agencies have strict protocols for transporting and handling animals, Diana explained. We've adapted those standards to the Academy's facilities. After more discussion, the board agreed to consider their request and make a decision within 3 days. Diana thanked them and left, feeling cautiously optimistic. When she returned, to the Earth Wing, the other 4 humans were waiting anxiously. How did it go? Jack asked as soon as she entered. Better than I expected, Diana said, collapsing into a chair. They didn't reject it outright. They're going to review each animal separately. That's progress, Samuel said, looking relieved. I've already contacted the Raptor Center back home. They're willing to loan us Artemis for educational purposes. Olivia nodded. And the University Entomology Department approved my request for the portable bee colony. It's designed for classroom demonstrations, completely secure. I'm working on the octopus tank specifications, Greg added. The tricky part will be maintaining the right water chemistry, but I think I've solved it. Jack looked at the message screen on his wrist device. And I just heard back from my professor. She can arrange for us to borrow a female wolf spider that's currently caring for her young. It's the perfect demonstration of maternal behavior in arthropods. Diana looked around at her eager friends and smiled. You all really think this will work, don't you? It has to, Greg said simply. This is our chance to help them understand us better. 3 days later, Diana received the notification they had been waiting for. The Academy Board had approved their request with conditions. Each specimen would need to pass a safety inspection upon arrival. Emergency containment fields would be installed in the presentation room, and at least 2 security officers would be present during each presentation. They're taking this very seriously, Samuel observed when Diana shared the news. Of course they are, Olivia replied. To them, we're bringing monsters from a nightmare world. Then let's show them that Earth's creatures aren't just scary, Jack said. They're fascinating, complex, and beautiful in their own way. Over the next 2 weeks, the humans worked with Academy staff to prepare. Transport arrangements were made with Earth. Special containment units were designed and tested. The classroom was modified to include additional safety measures. Word spread quickly among the student body. The upcoming presentations by the human students became the main topic of conversation. Some alien students were nervous, others excited, and a few even requested to attend remotely rather than be in the same room as Earth creatures. Professor Zilnax was surprisingly supportive, seeing it as an unprecedented educational opportunity. "In my 50 cycles of teaching," the professor told Diana, "I have never had the chance to observe live specimens from a death world. This will advance our understanding significantly." The day before the first presentation, Olivia's bee colony arrived from Earth in a special stasis container. Academy security insisted on scanning it thoroughly before allowing it into the school. "Tomorrow's the big day," Olivia said that evening as the 5 humans gathered in their common room. "I'm actually nervous." "You'll do great," Jack assured her. "Just remember, this isn't just about bees. It's about helping them understand Earth and us." As they went to bed that night, none of the 5 humans could sleep easily. They were about to change how the galaxy viewed their homeworld, for better or worse. The day of the first presentation arrived. The xenobiology lecture hall was packed beyond capacity. News had spread quickly through the academy about the humans' plan to bring actual Earth creatures to class. Many students who weren't even enrolled in the course had requested permission to observe. Others had opted to watch remotely, too nervous to be physically present. Olivia stood backstage, carefully checking the bee colony containment unit for the 5th time. The clear hexagonal case was designed to be completely secure while allowing full visibility of the bees inside. A small piece of their honeycomb had been included, and the bees moved busily around it. "Are you ready?" asked Professor Zilnax, approaching with all 4 arms clasped in front of his slender body. The professor's skin seemed more vividly blue today, which the humans had learned indicated excitement. "I think so," Olivia replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "Just a bit nervous about being first." "Your preparation has been excellent," Zilnax assured her. "This will be a valuable learning experience for everyone." The professor glided onto the stage and raised all 4 arms for silence. The murmurs in the audience slowly died down. "Welcome to our special xenobiology presentations," Zilnax began. "Today marks a historic occasion at the Academy. For the first time, we will observe living specimens from Earth, a Class 5 death world." A ripple of nervous movement passed through the audience. "I remind everyone that extensive safety measures have been implemented," the professor continued, gesturing to the security officers positioned around the room and the containment field generators installed at the stage perimeter. "Our first presenter is Olivia Hayes of Earth, who will introduce us to a fascinating social species." Olivia walked onto the stage carrying the containment unit. She placed it carefully on the display pedestal at the center of the stage. The audience leaned forward, many using vision enhancement devices to get a better look. "Greetings, everyone," Olivia began. "Today I'm introducing you to one of Earth's most important insect species, the honeybee." There was a pause, then a few confused murmurs. Many of the aliens seemed underwhelmed by the tiny yellow and black creatures moving around inside the container. A student with tentacles where a human would have arms raised one appendage. "These are your dangerous Earth predators? They're so small." Olivia smiled. "Size can be deceiving. These insects may be small, but they're remarkably complex." She activated the display controls, and a magnified view of a single bee appeared as a hologram above the container. "Computer, increase magnification by factor of 50. The hologram zoomed in dramatically, showing the bee's compound eyes, jointed legs, and most importantly, its stinger. "This is their defensive weapon," Olivia explained, pointing to the stinger. "It injects a venom that causes pain and swelling. In some cases, it can even be fatal to humans who are allergic to it." Now the audience seemed more interested. A student, with scales and a long tail, clicked a recording device. "Your species shares its world with venomous creatures, and you consider these non-dangerous. On Earth, we've learned to coexist with them," Olivia explained. "But what makes honeybees truly remarkable isn't their venom, but their social structure and communication methods. She switched the display to show the entire colony. Bees live in highly organized societies with division of labor. They have different castes, a single queen who lays all the eggs, male drones whose only purpose is reproduction, and female workers who do everything else. The hologram showed the larger queen bee surrounded by attendant workers. Olivia continued, the workers have different jobs depending on their age. Young bees care for larvae, middle-aged bees produce wax and build the honeycomb, and older bees forage for nectar and pollen. Professor Zilnax moved closer, all four eyes fixed on the display. Fascinating. And how do they coordinate these complex activities? Through several forms of communication, Olivia replied, growing more confident as she saw the genuine interest from the audience. They use pheromones, chemical signals, and a physical movement pattern we call the waggle dance to tell other bees where to find food. She activated another display showing a bee performing the distinctive dance. The direction and duration of this dance precisely indicates the direction and distance to flowers with nectar. A gasp went through the audience as they realized the implications. These tiny creatures can communicate abstract concepts like distance and direction, asked a gelatinous student near the front, its translucent body pulsing with excitement. Exactly, Olivia confirmed. They're much more intelligent than they appear. She then explained how bees maintain the exact temperature needed for their larvae by either clustering together to generate heat or beating their wings to cool the hive. But, perhaps most surprising to non-humans, Olivia continued, is that we actually cultivate these creatures for food production. The statement caused immediate confusion. You eat them? Asked a horrified student with 4 sets of eyes. Olivia laughed. No, we eat the honey they produce. It's a sweet substance made from flower nectar that the bees collect and process. She displayed an image of golden honey. Humans have kept bee colonies for thousands of years. We provide them with homes and they provide us with honey and pollinate our crops. Pollinate? Asked another student. Many plants on Earth require pollination, the transfer of pollen between flowers to reproduce, Olivia explained. As bees collect nectar, they inadvertently move pollen from one flower to another. Without bees and other pollinators, many of our food crops wouldn't produce fruit. Professor Zilnax moved closer to the container, studying the bees with clear fascination. So these small venomous creatures are actually critical to your ecosystem and food supply. Most remarkable, Olivia nodded. Earth's ecosystems are full of these complex relationships. Species that might seem dangerous often play vital roles in maintaining balance. She spent the remainder of her time answering questions about bee behavior, how humans safely harvest honey, and what happens when someone is stung. The audience seemed captivated, especially when she explained how bees will sacrifice their lives to defend the colony, as their stinger tears out after use, killing the bee. Such devotion to the collective, murmured Professor Zilnax. Truly fascinating. As Olivia's presentation concluded, the atmosphere in the room had shifted noticeably. What had begun with nervous tension had transformed into genuine scientific curiosity. Thank you, Olivia, for this enlightening presentation, said Professor Zilnax. This has given us much to consider about life adaptations on high-stress worlds. As Olivia carefully removed the bee colony, she caught sight of her fellow humans in the front row. Greg gave her a thumbs up and Diana was beaming with pride. Their plan was working. The aliens were beginning to see Earth creatures as more than just frightening monsters. Professor Zilnax addressed the audience once more. Our next Earth specimen presentation will be in 3 days, when Greg Johnson will introduce us to a remarkable aquatic life form. I encourage all of you to attend. The buzz of excited conversation filled the room as the audience departed. Several alien students approached Olivia with additional questions, their initial fear replaced by scientific curiosity. That went better than I expected, Jack said as the humans gathered afterward. Did you see how they reacted when you explained the waggle dance? Olivia nodded, relieved and pleased. I think they're starting to understand. Earth life isn't just dangerous, it's complex and fascinating. 1 down, 4 to go, Samuel said. Greg, are you ready for the octopus? Greg grinned. Just wait until they see what those 8 arms can do. 3 days later, the lecture hall was even more crowded for Greg's presentation. Word had spread about Olivia's fascinating bee colony, and now everyone wanted to see what strange creature the humans would show next. Greg stood behind a large wheeled tank covered with a black cloth. The water inside sloshed gently as he positioned it on the stage. 2 security officers hovered nearby, looking nervous despite their professional training. Professor Zilnax introduced Greg with obvious excitement. Today we continue our exploration of Earth's remarkable biodiversity with a creature from the oceans of this Class 5 death world. Please welcome Greg Johnson. Greg stepped forward, his hands resting on the covered tank. Thank you, Professor. Today I'm introducing you to one of the most intelligent invertebrates on Earth, the octopus. He pulled away the cloth to reveal a clear tank filled with artificial seawater. At first, the audience couldn't see anything except some rocks and synthetic coral. Then a shape moved, changing from the exact color of the rocks to a mottled pattern of orange and brown. 2 large eyes appeared, followed by a bulbous head and 8 long arms that unfurled gracefully. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. The octopus was about the size of Greg's head, with arms that could stretch to the length of his forearm. It moved to the front of the tank, seeming to study the alien audience with as much curiosity as they showed toward it. This is Athena, a common octopus, Greg explained. She's about 1 year old and already displays remarkable problem-solving abilities and adaptability. He placed a clear plastic container with a small crab inside it into the water. The container had a screw-top lid. Watch what happens when I give her this puzzle. The audience watched in amazement as the octopus immediately approached the container, examined it from all angles, then began using her arms to twist the lid off. Within minutes, she had opened the container and was eating the crab. Incredible, murmured Professor Zilnax. It understood the mechanical problem immediately. Octopuses have approximately 500 million neurons, Greg explained. Many of these are distributed throughout their arms, giving each arm a kind of independent intelligence. They can solve complex puzzles, recognize individual humans, and even escape from tanks if they're not properly secured. This statement caused a ripple of alarm among the audience. One security officer moved closer to the tank, hand hovering near his containment device. Greg smiled reassuringly. Don't worry, this tank is specially designed. But yes, in aquariums on Earth, octopuses are known for being escape artists. They can squeeze through incredibly small spaces because they have no bones. No skeletal structure at all? Asked a student with an elaborate exoskeleton of its own. None, Greg confirmed. Their only hard part is a beak, similar to a bird's, which they use to break open shellfish. He activated the holographic display to show the octopus's internal anatomy. Without bones, they can change shape at will. They can also change color and texture to match their surroundings perfectly. As if on cue, Athena shifted her color to perfectly match the blue of Greg's uniform, then changed to a bumpy texture that mimicked the rocks in her tank. This camouflage ability is unmatched in Earth's oceans, Greg continued. They can disappear, completely against almost any background in less than a second. A student with translucent skin raised a tentative limb. Is it dangerous to humans? This species isn't harmful to humans, Greg explained. But there are some octopus species with venom strong enough to kill a human. Even Athena here has venom that she uses to paralyze crabs and other prey. He moved on to explain how octopuses hunt, using their intelligence to stalk prey and their flexibility to extract food from tight spaces. Perhaps most fascinating is their problem-solving ability, Greg said. He placed another puzzle in the tank, this one more complex, requiring multiple steps to open. The audience watched in silent amazement as Athena examined the new puzzle, tried several approaches, and finally solved it through a series of deliberate manipulations. They learn through observation and experience, Greg explained. Scientists believe they even dream, as we've observed them changing color while sleeping, possibly replaying their daily experiences. Professor Zilnax moved closer to the tank, all 4 eyes wide with fascination. And this creature evolved in your world's oceans? What selection pressures could produce such intelligence in a prey species? That's the interesting part, Greg replied. Octopuses have many predators in our oceans. Their intelligence evolved as a survival strategy. Without physical defenses like shells or speed, they developed problem-solving abilities and amazing camouflage instead. He spent the next portion of his presentation demonstrating more of Athena's abilities, how she could recognize shapes, remember solutions to puzzles, and even interact with Greg through the glass, reaching out her arms toward his hand when he placed it against the tank. They form bonds with humans who care for them, Greg explained. They recognize individuals and treat some people differently than others. By the end of the presentation, the atmosphere in the room had completely transformed. The initial fear had given way to wonder. Several students were taking detailed notes, and Professor Zilnax could barely contain his excitement. Most extraordinary, the professor said as Greg prepared to conclude. To think that your oceans produced such intelligence without any technological civilization to show for it. Greg nodded. Earth's evolutionary pressures are intense. Predators and prey constantly evolve new strategies against each other. The result is incredible diversity and specialized adaptations like Athena's intelligence. As Greg carefully covered the tank again, preparing to return Athena to the secure holding facility, a student asked, "Do humans eat these creatures?" Greg paused. Yes, in many parts of Earth, octopus is considered a delicacy. This admission caused a stir among the aliens. The idea of eating such an intelligent creature seemed to disturb them. We humans are still working through our ethical relationship with other intelligent species, Greg admitted honestly. It's something we continue to evolve in, just as we evolved physically. After the presentation, the 5 humans gathered in their common room celebrating the success of Greg's demonstration. They were completely fascinated, Diana said. I could see it in their body language. They're starting to understand Earth life differently. Samuel nodded, checking on his falcon in her specially designed travel enclosure. I'm up next. Artemis is ready to show them what Earth predators are all about. Jack looked at the cage where his wolf spider was adjusting to her new environment. We're building up to something they've never imagined. By the time we're done, they'll see Earth and us in a completely new light. Olivia smiled. I think it's already working. I overheard some students in the dining hall talking about humans. They weren't using the word Deathworlders like it's something frightening. They were using it almost like it's impressive. That's the point, Jack said, quietly. We're not monsters because we come from a challenging world. We're adaptable. We understand life in all its forms, even the ones that might seem dangerous. Outside their window, the 3 moons of Zilara Prime rose above the sprawling academy complex. Somewhere in those gleaming buildings, alien students were discussing octopuses and bees, beginning to understand the complex tapestry of life that had shaped humanity. The day of Jack's presentation arrived. By now, the entire academy was buzzing with excitement about the Earth creatures. Samuel's falcon demonstration had stunned the audience with its speed and hunting abilities, while Diana's gentle corn snake had challenged their fear of reptiles. Now everyone waited to see what the final human would bring. The lecture hall was filled beyond capacity. Some students had arrived hours early to secure seats. Even academy administrators and professors from other departments had come to watch. Security had been doubled with containment specialists positioned at every exit. Behind the stage, Jack carefully checked the sealed container that held his specimen. Inside, a large wolf spider sat on a small branch. Her body was covered with fine hairs and her 8 eyes glinted in the light. Most notably, her abdomen was surrounded by dozens of tiny spiderlings clinging to their mother's back. Are you certain about this? Asked Safety Officer Cottrell, his insectoid body quivering slightly as he peered at the container. This creature resembles some of our most feared predators. That's precisely why I chose her, Jack replied calmly. To show that even creatures that seem frightening can be understood and appreciated. Professor Zilnax approached, his blue skin almost luminescent with excitement. We are ready to begin, Jack. The containment fields are at maximum strength. Jack nodded and picked up the container. He took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The audience fell silent as Professor Zilnax introduced him. Today we conclude, our extraordinary series of Earth specimen presentations with what promises to be the most remarkable yet. Please welcome Jack Miller. Jack placed the sealed container on the display table and faced the audience. Thank you all for coming. Throughout these presentations, my fellow humans and I have tried to show you different aspects of Earth's biodiversity. Today I want to challenge your perceptions one final time. He paused, looking out at the sea of alien faces. The creature I've brought is one that causes fear even among many humans, yet it plays a vital role in our ecosystems and displays fascinating behaviors that deserve our respect and understanding. Jack pressed a button, and a protective shield rose around the display table. Only then did he carefully open the container and transfer the spider and her branch to a larger, clear-walled habitat. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. Several aliens gasped or made sounds of alarm in their native languages. A few in the front rows pushed back their seats while others activated personal shield devices. One student appeared to faint, slumping against its neighbor. "This is a wolf spider," Jack said calmly, activating the magnification display to show a close-up view of the spider. "She's a mother carrying her recently hatched young on her back until they're ready to survive on their own." The magnified image showed the tiny spiderlings in detail, each one a perfect miniature of its mother. Despite their initial fear, many in the audience leaned forward, scientific curiosity overcoming their instinctive reactions. "Spiders are predatory arachnids found on nearly every part of Earth," Jack continued. "They have 8 legs, multiple eyes, and produce silk that they use to build webs, create egg sacs, and sometimes even to travel through the air." He explained how spiders help control insect populations, prevent the spread of disease, and maintain ecological balance. The audience listened with rapt attention as Jack described the spider's hunting techniques, from ambushing prey to spinning elaborate trap webs. "Many spiders use venom to subdue their prey," Jack explained. "Some species have venom strong enough to harm humans, but the vast majority are harmless to us. This wolf spider's bite would feel like a bee sting to a human." Professor Zilnax moved closer to the habitat, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he studied the spider. "The maternal behavior is fascinating. How long will she carry her young?" "About a week after hatching," Jack replied. "Then they'll climb down and begin their independent lives. Until then, she protects them constantly, even while hunting." A student with feathery appendages raised one limb. "On our world, creatures with multiple limbs and eyes are apex predators that can consume beings our size. Do these spiders ever attack humans?" Jack shook his head. "They're far too small to see humans as prey. They might bite defensively if threatened, but they'd much rather run away. Humans are giants from their perspective." He switched the display to show the spider's silk glands and explained how spider silk was proportionally stronger than steel and more elastic than rubber. Scientists on Earth study spider silk to develop new materials with similar properties. As Jack's presentation continued, the mood in the room gradually shifted. Fear gave way to fascination. Even Safety Officer Cottrell had moved closer, his initial alarm replaced by professional interest. "Perhaps most remarkable," Jack said, "is how humans relate to spiders. While many fear them instinctively, others keep them as pets. We've created stories, art, and even superhero characters inspired by them. We recognize both their beauty and their importance." When the formal presentation ended, Jack invited questions. Hands, tentacles, and various appendages shot up across the audience. "How many species of spiders exist on Earth?" "Over 50,000 that we've identified," Jack answered, "and likely many more we haven't discovered yet." "Do all human children learn to recognize dangerous species?" "Education varies, but most learn basic wildlife safety appropriate to their region." The questions continued for nearly an hour. By the time Jack finally closed the habitat and secured the spider for transport, the audience was reluctant to leave. Professor Zilnax addressed the room as the presentation concluded. "I want to thank our Earth students for this unprecedented educational experience. These presentations have changed our understanding of life on high-stress worlds and the adaptations that allow complex ecosystems to thrive under challenging conditions." Later that evening, the 5 humans gathered in their common room, celebrating the success of their presentations with food and drinks from Earth. "Did you see Cottrell at the end?" Diana laughed. He actually asked if he could study the spider's venom production. The same officer who almost denied our request. Samuel raised his glass. To successful cultural exchange through scary earth creatures. They all laughed and clinked their glasses together. A message alert sounded from the room's communication panel. Jack pressed the accept button, and Professor Zilnax's face appeared on the screen. "Students, I have extraordinary news," the professor said, all four eyes blinking rapidly in excitement. "The Academy Board has approved a new research initiative focused on Earth's biodiversity. They want all 5 of you to help develop a permanent Earth species exhibit for educational purposes." The humans exchanged surprised glances. "Furthermore," Zilnax continued, 3 other academic institutions have requested similar presentations. It seems you've sparked a galaxy-wide interest in Earth's wildlife." After the professor signed off, the 5 friends sat in stunned silence for a moment. "Well," Jack finally said, "I guess we really did change their perspective." Olivia nodded. "They don't see us as just Deathworlders anymore. They see us as we really are," Greg added. "Products of a complex world that taught us to understand life in all its forms." Outside their window, the stars of the galactic arm shimmered. Somewhere out there, word was spreading about the fascinating creatures from Earth and the humans who had evolved alongside them. The Deathworlders had managed to surprise the galaxy not with their strength or resilience, but with their appreciation for the very things that had shaped them.